Hey Mike, this is Trevor. Hope you're doing well. Uh, Thought I'd do this quick video. Well, it's not going to be that quick, but I hope you've got about 15 minutes. I just wanted to give you a couple of tips regarding the site, the Magnolia Event Boutique. So, nice site, looks pretty. I think it looks like it's been done in WordPress. Uh, you know, looks decent. Like all these tabs on the top. I don't know what N49 is. I'm assuming it's a site that basically gives reviews. Anyway, so what I did was you gave me those keywords that you were looking for. So I just started with, I guess, the very basic. I did a search for wedding reception halls in Etobicoke because I believe your address says that you guys are in Etobicoke. So when I did that, and Google's basically broken into three parts. Above this map pack here, you normally have what is called ads, where it's basically paid ads. This piece here, where you've got these three sites, is basically referred to as the map pack. If there are more sites, they're basically going to more places. And lastly, after that, you have what's called the organics. So if you look at this here, a lot of these first couple of sites are more from, the Knot event site, Wedding Wire, and the first site that shows up actually is Crystal Grand. I guess they're out in Mississauga. So basically, they're ranking number one compared to everyone else here, which is basically review sites. So, what I wanted to talk about is, and I know I mentioned it to you earlier in my previous text. First off, you guys are mobile friendly, which is awesome. You can do a quick search for mobile friendly test and just put in your URL and it will actually find it, and it says the Magnolia is mobile friendly. What I didn't find, and a lot of sites that I create and it's kind of recommended, is on your pages itself some kind of a button or some kind of a call to action. So, click to call or something of that nature, so that, if I'm on my smartphone, 80% of people are now searching just on smartphones. They're not on their computers. I don't have to go all the way to right now. I think it's in your contact page, if I remember correctly, and your number is all the way here. So on the mobile phone, it actually turns into a URL, but I've now got to move over all the way here to find your number. What you really want to have is somewhere, call us, maybe even up here, so that people can just tap it and it invokes a call to the location. So that's number one. So the second thing, sorry, I'm just looking at my notes as I speak to you. The second thing that I want to mention to you is when I did wedding reception halls in Etobicoke, like I said, these guys showed up. And how these guys showed up is actually they went to Google My Business, and in there you can actually register your business with Google. Once you've registered it with Google, you actually ask for what's called a verification card, and that verification card gets either mailed to you. I think you can do over the phone as well. Once you've done that, Google now signifies that this is a legitimate business. And then what you want to do is, I know you guys are using this particular N49 reviews. A lot of people, you'll notice now, when they search and if these guys show up, they look for the stars right here, and they can click on it and actually go into looking at the reviews. Based on that, a lot of people will click that number and call them. So Google My Business, free business listing. Now, one thing, when you are on Google My Business, you've got to enter it correctly. So what I quite often do is I will look at the competitors. In this case, these guys here, I would look at their page, see how many pictures they have, see what kind of content they have, and then from there decide that I just basically got to beat them. So if they've got 20 pictures, you put 60 pictures. The other piece that you really want to be concerned about is your content there. It's got to be very keyword rich specific. So it's got to flow. You just can't stuff it because Google won't like it. But you've got to be able to put a story together that talks about wedding banquets, corporate events. You guys host all of that stuff. You guys have in-house catering or whatever else. But it's got to sound like it is just a really good business description with those keywords. That's one thing to get you in there, but that doesn't automatically get you ranked in the top 3. For you to actually get ranked in the top 3, you do what are called citations. And citations are basically, for example, Yelp, Yellow Pages, Hot Frog. There's a whole whack of them. There's actually thousands. You can do them yourself. They are painful if you do them yourself. I can actually give you a list of the 100 top directory citation locations, or I can find someone who can do it for you. And, we would basically craft exactly the same information. And that's the other piece as well. When you're doing your citations, your name, address, and phone number have to be identical across the board. Otherwise, Google doesn't index that. The more citations you have, and citations aren't the only factor, but basically the more citations you have, Google starts pushing you up in this ranking up here. And the more reviews you have as well, Google start pushing you up in here. So that's the second thing about Google My Business. The third thing with respect to your site as well, 2 things on your site that I'd really like to talk about. Your pictures. So if I right click on this picture and hit save image as, you'll notice it just says about. What you really want to do is you want to rename these pictures. So quite often what I do is when I'm creating my my lead generation sites, all of my pictures are very keyword specific. So just to give you an example, that site that I was talking to you about to look up really quickly, if I did wedding cakes Durham region, right, and I went to images, this cake here, I've renamed it in such a way that Google's indexed it. And what's that done is basically, if someone wants to just see wedding cakes, they start looking around, they're like, okay, that's one of my cakes. If you go further down, that's one of the other cakes that basically point back to my site, cakemehome.ca. This is another cake that points back to cakemehome.ca. This is actually a review that I've kind of named it in a way that Google indexes it so that it goes back to my site as well. So that's a key here with all these pictures. If you wanted to call it, for example, wedding banquet hall Etobicoke, top wedding banquet hall Mississauga, so that it starts showing up in your images too, and it gives you a bit of a boost. That's one. The second piece that I want to talk about is on your sites itself. I know people don't like this. It's not, web designers aren't too crazy about it. But when you're looking to rank from an SEO perspective, I recommend on your main page, on your main page, you basically, sorry, I just got a message saying that my computer needed to restart. So on your main page itself, you're looking for about 1,000 to 2,000 words. Now that's kind of difficult because, people get kind of, weary about reading all that stuff. What we're trying to do is, and we can format it really nicely. So for example, again, going back to this particular site that I created, I've got about close to 1,000 words on this particular page, but you can still break it up. So it's got that first piece. I've got a couple of reviews. I've got some more content, but all of this content is very keyword rich. So Google starts looking at this and go, okay, let me index it. I can find some really good keywords in here. And if I can show you, the reason why I say it's so important is if I went to Google and I typed up, if my system works, elephants. The first site that shows up is Wikipedia. Now, Wikipedia isn't the prettiest site, but they are the most authoritative site. So, yeah, they've got 50,000 words in here. No one ever reads all of this, but the fact that, you've got so much content, Google's gone out and said, okay, let me index this page. This page has the most information about elephants. So what you want to do is have the most information about your services. And that's where, for example, where you've got catering, you'd really need to break those services down. And I bet you there's a number of services you guys do, wedding ceremonies or wedding catering, corporate catering, baptism catering. Those are all keywords that Google will start searching for, and then when people try to go, I'm looking for a banquet hall for my baptism, they start popping up. To give you a further example, so there's a tool called SEMrush, which I use, and I put in your domain in there, and I basically searched it for organic research. And the organic research basically says that your site has 53 keywords. You get about 2 clicks in traffic, and it costs about $6 a month for that traffic to come to your site. Now I started looking at your keywords, and if you notice, it says the Magnolia Banquet Hall. That's your highest ranking keyword. It's actually gone down from 4 to 6. Magnolia Events, Baby Shower Setup, Shower Happiness, Russian Banquet Hall, Toronto, and so forth. But if I take, let's say, for example, these guys here, the King's Garden. If I put these guys in for a second and do a search, they've got 69 keywords. And they're more targeted, more specific. If you notice, banquet halls in Etobicoke, Ontario, banquet hall prices, Toronto. These are words that people actually search on. So the only reason this is 53, because trust me, if I do banquet halls in Toronto, there's got to be another person who's really dominant in that area. But if you notice, these keywords are much more different compared to the keywords that are coming up in your search. And if I take even these guys, Crystal Grand, who show up in the organics, I think these guys have even more keywords because they're ranking much higher organically. Yep, they've got 234 keywords. And if you notice again, Crystal Banquet, 2011 Dundas Street, which is great. Italian banquet halls in Mississauga, #1, and so forth. So cheap wedding venues in Mississauga, Crystal Banquet Hall, and it keeps on going down. Halal Banquet Hall, Mississauga, catering to the ethnic groups. So, there's a lot of keywords, and these will constantly move up, and you can move these up as well with using SEO, and I can talk to you about that in a second. Okay, so I've talked about mobile friendliness. I've talked about Google My Business citations. I've talked about optimizing your site. So let's go back to your site for a second. Yeah, so these headings as well, they really have to be descriptive in the way that when Google indexes it. So for example, you would have a section there. Just to give you an example out of the blue, Italian banquet halls, Mississauga. That would be your heading. Yeah, will be an H2 heading. And then you would basically talk a little bit about Italian weddings. And again, that allows Google to say, okay, well, these guys offer Italian weddings as well at their banquet hall. You can even create in here wedding types, and you can pretty much put every type of wedding that you think you'd ever host. Talk a little bit about the tradition of the wedding, and then what services you guys offer. It's a bit of work, but trust me, Google looks at all of that, and it starts ranking you much higher. And I'm going to end off with one last thing. It's what are called backlinks. So backlinks basically are votes that you get from other sites. And these backlinks basically give your site more juice to basically move higher. So what Google sees is, if you've got, for example, Google itself linking back to your site from their site, referencing your site, Google has what's called a trust flow and a citation flow of 99. If you ever had that, your site would be ranking #1 no matter what. So you're looking for sites, or you're looking for blogs or PBNs. Even there are a whole bunch of other directories out there that you can actually register your business with that gives you juice back to your site. So if I, for example, look at Crystal Grand and I look at their backlinks, they've got 35 backlinks. And so that isn't that strong, but again, their content is most probably going to be fairly strong. Yeah, so weddings. Yep. So they've got more keyword rich information. Let's see here. So Crystal Grand, and we can try to copy some of these backlinks anyways. So 411.ca, that's a good one. CanadasBridalDirectory.com, if you could register yourself there. Some of them, of course, will charge. The other good ones, you may have to pay, but it does give you some juice back to your site. Better Business Bureau is one. I think it's about $300 annually. The other one is if there is a board of trade or a chamber of commerce that you can actually register yourself with. Most of them give you what I call do follow links, so they give you juice back to your site. Yeah, so these are all the various sites from other locations. Like this one's a good one. Brampton Guardian. I don't know how they got in there. Maybe they put an article, and even then, you could most probably ask the Brampton Guardian whether you could post an article in there as a contributor, and they will point back to your site. So these have 35 backlinks from what I can see here. The King's Garden. Let's just see what sites they have back at him. 105 backlinks, and let's just check their referring domains. They've got 16 referring domains. Again, 411.ca, yellowpages.com, and you can register with Yellow Pages. You just don't have to buy their service. So I mean, you could still. I'm with them, I think, for some of my lead generation sites. The Canada's Bridal Directory. See the Chamber of Commerce? It's got lots of strength there. Where else? Event Source. The Clever Bride. Nah, that's too low, but you could still, you want to mix it up. So you just don't want to go to power sites alone. You want to have some sites that don't have that much power linking back to you, and sites that do have a lot of power linking back to you. Beyond that as well, I build sites on the side that have quite a lot of juice to them, which I push back to my money-paying sites today, and I can certainly push some back to your sites. So that gives a lot of juice, and that kind of pushes your ranking up. Beyond that, did that. So I mean, yeah, we could do all of this. We could work. I could give you some more insights into what you could do. Finally, what I'd suggest is there's a tool out there, and you can actually download it for free. It's called Power SEO, and what that does is, let me see if I can bring this into the screen here. I just didn't realize it was. So there's a tool. It's free. It gives you a free report on your site. The site's called Power SEO, if I remember correctly. If not, and if you can't find it, just let me know, because I'll let you know. All you do is you basically put your URL in, and it gives you a site audit summary, a site audit details. So, for example, when your site audit summary, let's see if I can go back here for a second. It says 2,444 issues found with your site. Some of it is stuff that we really don't care about, but some of it really we do care about. So, for example, I think. Let me just see if I've got this here. I did find them. Some of your titles are beyond the Google's standard length of, I think it's 160 characters. So what happens is Google doesn't bother with it. It'll look at it, but because it's kind of not in that range, it may look for the first 160 and then it'll keep on moving on. I'm just trying to see if I can find some of this stuff. So you got 448 errors, 741. Again, all of this is just info, so that's what's contributing a large amount to this. Fixed W, non-W, pages with matter, broken links. Apparently you've got 409 broken links. I'm not sure why there is an issue. This thing here is making you lose juice on your site. It's what's called do follow external links. You've got 735. A lot of them are pointing back to Instagram. So what you'd like to do is, and I think this is in WordPress, you'd really like to make these no follow links. So that no juice is leaving your site, because honestly Instagram is, you don't want to give any power to Instagram anyways. Duplicate titles are fine. Too long titles, that's the one I was looking for. Empty meta description. So again, that's key in SEO as well. Your page itself needs to have a description, and the title needs to be, I think, below 160 characters. So all of those factors make a difference when Google's actually searching for you and ranking you. Let me just see if I can look at the site audit details. Actually, the details are way too long, so. And domain strength. So it's a 4.6. I think it's out of a 10. So not too bad. I mean, you guys, I think this site's been around for 6 years. It doesn't look like much work has been done with it. So for example, even this XML sitemap, really you need to create one and you need to submit that to Google so that Google actually indexes you correctly. What else can I talk to you about here? It says you got 275 pages. That's a lot of pages, which is good. It's just those pages haven't been really created in a fashion that Google can actually find them. So again, Google Plus, you've got 0 signals. So that's again another social media tool. Once you've set up Google My Business, you can then connect to Google Plus and again start posting stuff in there. Oops. What else have we got here? Yeah, it says traffic to the website, sessions, users, new sessions, not a whole lot. So it's called, again, like I said, it's called SEO Power Suite. You can download this. There's a free version. It can give you a really good start on what things need to be improved on your site. And again, we can chat further after you've had a quick review of this video. There's more we can do. There's certainly more we can do. Again, like I said, it's not a bad site. I just don't know what was the last time it was updated. And we just need to put more content. It's not that hard to put more content. I can certainly find someone for you to actually write content, keyword-rich content, once we sit down and kind of discuss exactly what content you want to put on there. Okay, I think I'm going to stop for today. I hope you found this helpful. I hope some of this made sense. And of course, we can chat further. All right? Take it easy, man. Bye.